Hey, welcome back, hockey fans, Ducks fans. We're back again. We're going to be doing this as much as we can. Some preseason games. Let's just get right into it, right? Some preseason games yesterday. I wanted to touch into that real fast, get over some of those scores. Try to do that as much as I can every couple day or two. I want lots of score updates for you guys. That maybe, either way, doesn't matter. Here we go. Let's get into it. By the way, donning an older school retro, a little bit kind of a retro, not too retro, Anaheim Ducks. Some Scott Niedermayer action today. Okay, so getting into this, let's get into some of the hockey scores from Sunday the 25th. These are some hockey scores. We'll start with the Ducks. Ducks won their inaugural, or I shouldn't say inaugural, but their first game of the preseason for the 22-23 season, 3-2 over Arizona. Lucas Dostal was in net. I like this guy. Don't know a whole lot about him. In fact, I should do some research and get a little bit more info on him. But Lucas Dostal, what I have seen of him, I like. So if he's the future of the Ducks, and then there's Kaye Klang as well that they picked up. I think it was a Pittsburgh pickup, but they got Kaye Klang as well. I think he was part of the Rickard Rakell trade. So, but anyway, Lucas Dostal started in net yesterday for the Ducks against Arizona. This was in Arizona at their wimpy little arena that they've got now. Kind of sad when you think about it, but they got the win, 3-2. Dostal was in net the whole way through, so that's great. Like Dostal a lot. Regenda, Luneau, and Lundestrom all had goals. Lundestrom, one of my favorite Ducks, had 3 points, a goal and 2 assists. So go Ducks on that one. Some other games in action. Pittsburgh and Columbus had a couple of games. I think they had a split squad thing going. Jackets won 5-1, and Gaudreau got his first goal as a Columbus Blue Jacket. Another game, Penguins won 3-2 on a split squad thing. Another split squad game was the Flames and Canucks played. In the first game, Flames won 3-2 in overtime. I watched a little bit of that on television. That was it was fun to watch. Finally, kind of watching some hockey. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch the Ducks game. I just don't think it was televised in any way, shape, or form. But I watched the Canucks Flames game, and that was fun to watch. Man, just watching hockey, even though there's a lot of names I didn't know because they're younger guys, and it was just fun to watch. So first game went the Flames' way, 3-2 in overtime. Second game went the Flames' way as well, 4-0. So a couple of goals there. And Huberdeau also got his first goal as a Flame, Jonathan Huberdeau. So, man, big deal with him. 8 years, $84 million, man, for the Flames. So anyway, another score, Wild won in overtime. A lot of overtime wins, overtime games, I should say. Wild got over the Avs, 3-2 in overtime. Ryan Hartman scored the overtime winner in that one. Sabres 4-3 in overtime. Sabres beat the Caps. And let's see, Oilers beat the Jets 4-0, blanked them. Sharks beat the Kings in overtime. Kings are a rival, so that's nice to see. Sharks beat the Kings in overtime. And then another game that the Avs had in a split squad with, they actually did, Avs were split squad. They played a game with the Wild, and then they also played a game against the Golden Knights. So the Avs won that one as well, won that one 3-1 against the Golden Knights. So moving on from that, those are just some scores for the preseason Sunday. There's a lot more games going on today, tomorrow, this week, lots of preseason. Again, I touched on it in the last video. Preseason is really just a litmus test. It's kind of a way for the coaches to evaluate and take a look at the new players, the young players, the rookies, everyone involved to figure out who's going to make the team and figure out some line combinations moving forward. I wanted to go dive into the Ducks, of course, like I always do. The lineup. I haven't really talked about their lineup, projected lineup, what I think personally their lineup is going to be. This is going to change too. projected lineups are just speculation based on NHL gurus and people like myself that watch it a lot, and then what we think and that kind of thing. But I want to give you what I thought the projected lineup's going to be, and what it could be too, like maybe a second option to the lineup. So the most popular projected lineup right now for the Ducks, we'll talk about first line. First line, Zegras down the middle. Zegras in the middle. That's kind of the consensus right now. Everybody believes that Zegras will be the top line center. I have no reason to think that he won't. There is the potential and possibility that he'll be moved to the wing on the first or second line. It really doesn't matter with Z. He needs to get better if you're going to be a center. And most centers down the middle, you always want those big guys, the Getzlaffs of the world, right? So could Z potentially be moved to the wing? Absolutely, he could. He might be more well suited on the wing. One of the things I like about Z just being on the wing is that guys like Paul Kariya, he was a big time point producer and created a lot of offense for himself being on the wing, you know. So and look at Solani. Solani was a winger, you know what I mean. So those guys were magic, you know. So but Zegras is kind of projected to be the top line center. We'll see how that works out with Henrique on his left, Troy Terry on his right. I like that combo. I really do. We'll see if that comes to fruition. Second line center, Strome. Now, Strome's a guy that I think could be a potential first line center. Potentially. You never know. We'll see how that works out. But right now, Strome, second line center with Comtois and Vetrano. Okay, I like the idea of having Strome and Vetrano on the same line. Who's going to be on the left wing with that line? We'll see. Comtois is kind of the name that's out there. I think you can probably throw a Max Jones even in there, or even drop Zegras down and put him on a wing with Strome and Vetrano. Okay, potentially. Or Mason McTavish. Mason McTavish right now could be your second line center, or it could be the third line center. Put him on the second line center as a second line center and Strome up as the first line center. Z goes on the wing with McTavish. Whoa, think about that. So, I mean, there's a lot of combinations you can throw together, okay? We'll have preseason and training camps going to determine really for the coaches and Pat Verbeek what they want to see out there on the ice and who's going to gel, who's going to work well together, who's going to have chemistry. Chemistry is the biggest word, I think, when it comes to line combinations. Who has the best chemistry? So anyways, I think more than likely what a lot of people are expecting to see is the Strome, Vetrano, and then Comtois on the left. Mason McTavish, definitely going to be a stud for the Ducks. He's probably going to be more like a third line center. You never know. He could be up there, further up. Just kind of depends on how well things go in the preseason. But McTavish, Max Jones. Max Jones is one of those guys I haven't really talked about. You don't hear his name a whole lot when people talk about hockey or when people talk about the Ducks. I feel like Max Jones, this is kind of his year. This is the year that if he doesn't prove himself this year, Max Jones might be moving on. They might move on away from Max Jones. So I think Max Jones has a lot of upside. He just has to get in there and make it happen. So McTavish, Jones, this is third line. McTavish in the center, Jones on his left. Silverberg, Jakob Silverberg, who had some blood clot issues last year. He missed a lot of time because of that. I want him to rebound. I really like Jakob Silverberg a lot. He is one of those players that kind of flies under the radar. We picked him up in Ottawa for the Bobby Ryan trade. Ducks fans remember Bobby Ryan. Number 2 pick right behind Sidney Crosby. Oh, man. If the Ducks had the number 1 pick, could you imagine Sidney Crosby being a Duck all this time? But anyways, Bobby Ryan went to Ottawa. We got Jakob Silverberg in return. So a lot of people believe that Silverberg will be on the right side of Mason McTavish on that third line. So fourth line, guys, Lundestrom. Lundestrom in the center there. I like Lundestrom a lot. He's One of my favorite Ducks right now. I really like this kid. Derek Grant and Sam Carrick. This is a hard-working grinder fourth line. I really like this line. Lundstrom's they can score. I mean, Grant does his best point production as a Duck. If you've ever watched Derek Grant's numbers with other teams, they're not that great. But when he's been a Duck, he's always produced, and he's always played his best hockey as an Anaheim Duck. So Derek Grant, Lundstrom, Sam Carrick. I like Sam Carrick a lot. That's a hard-working guy, man. He worked his way to an NHL contract with the Ducks and a steadfast player with the Ducks. I really like Derek Grant a lot. Sam Carrick a lot. I like Derek Grant a lot too, but Sam Carrick is just a hard-working guy. He's, like I said before in a previous video, hard-working guys are hard to come by. The ones that just keep working hard. They work hard every shift. So Sam Carrick, good guy. Anyways, that's kind of a projected 1, 2, 3, 4 lineup there. We'll see what happens. Things can change. That's just what most people are kind of thinking, and that's kind of what I think is going to happen too. But I think there could be some tweaks in there. So on the defensive side, defense, huge. Defense wins you championships, okay? Got to have guys put the goals in the net, absolutely. But defense is huge. The Ducks won the Cup in 2007 because of defense and goaltending, okay? Defense and goaltending is going to win you championships. Defense this year, Cam Fowler, one of my favorite players, one of my favorite Ducks ever. I love Cam Fowler. I think he's going to be paired with Klingberg, and that's going to be a great top defensive pair. Fowler and Klingberg. Think about it. Two really good puck-moving defensemen. Klingberg more on the offensive side, Fowler more on the defensive side. But man, Fowler can put up points. He's shooting the puck more. Last year kind of showed that. I love Cam Fowler. So Cam Fowler, John Klingberg. And then I think you're going to get Kulikov, okay, and Drysdale on your second defensive pair. Kulikov has gotten a trade with Minnesota for future considerations, which basically means for nothing. But Kulikov is one of those guys where this is the last year of his contract that he had with Minnesota, so we inherited that. So I don't know if he's going to be in the future with the Ducks moving forward after this season, but I like the pickup. He's a veteran defenseman. He's got a lot of experience. You can't go wrong with a guy like that to add some experience and depth to your D. Drysdale on the right side of that Kulikov and Drysdale line. So pair, I should say. I like this. Drysdale can move the puck, shoot the puck, skates like a maniac. And then you got Kulikov, which is kind of more of a stay-at-home defenseman. So you got that. That's a good pair. And then third defensive pair, I should say, Vakanainen. One of these are pickups we got last year in a trade. And Shattenkirk. I really like our defense right now. I miss Josh Manson and Hampus Lindholm a lot. Those guys were both really good defensemen, especially Lindholm. Missed that guy, but they moved on. Manson went to Colorado and signed a 4-year deal. Lindholm went to Boston and signed, I think, an 8-year deal. So they really invested in those two guys, those two teams. So, but I like what we got. The Fowler-Klingberg combination, good. Kulikov, Drysdale, I mean, that's a good mix, I think. And then Vakanainen and Shattenkirk, you got a young guy up and coming, Shattenkirk, who a veteran defenseman on that side. So I really like that. Goalies, nothing's changed from last year. You're going to have John Gibson as your number one. I love Gibson. I think Gibson, even though there's been a lot of talk about him not being happy and wanting to move on and be on a contender and that kind of thing, not wanting to be part of a rebuild, what do you say to that? I mean, John Gibson is a potential key or tool to trade and get assets and other players for. He's in his prime right now. If the Ducks decide to move him, and get some future prospects and some younger players for them, they can definitely do that. Or you hold on to them as long as John doesn't want to go anywhere. You hold on to him and roll with it. John's a great goaltender. He's one of those guys that's like a Jiggy, like a Guillet Bear. You know, we've gone long term with those guys as a franchise in the past, and we've had a lot of success. And John Gibson's another one of those. We drafted him. To me, he's a franchise goalie. I'd hate to see him go. I really would. But sometimes that's the business, right? The business says, you know, you got to get your future. You got to make a championship team. Sometimes you got to move a goalie that may not want to be with you anymore and may bring you brighter prospects and stuff like that. So I like John Gibson. I hope he stays long-term and sticks out his contract that he's currently on. Anthony Stolarz is our backup. Anthony Stolarz was really good last year for us. He was solid. I liked everything about his play last year. Big kid, big guy, way bigger than like John Gibson's pretty big guy, but Stolarz is even bigger, and he's one of those guys that just takes up so much room in the net. I like Anthony Stolarz as a backup. He did really well and proved himself last year. So there's your 1-2 for the Ducks, Gibson and Stolarz. Nothing's changed there, same as last year. And Lucas Dostal, he's in the wings. He's in the shadows, waiting to come up. He played our first preseason game this year and won. So he had some time last year as well, and he looked pretty good, I thought. He'll be playing with the San Diego Gulls this year again. He is a younger, I think he's 22, but goalies kind of take some time to get to that point where you can bring him in on the NHL level and throw him in there. I think the Ducks are doing a good job. Plus, they've got Kaye Klang as well in the background as the future too. So the future looks good on the goalie side, I think. Gibson, can't say anything bad about Gibson, really. He's in his prime right now. He's just got to have a consistent year. Consistency in goaltending is huge. Like I said, defense and goaltending wins you championships. And I know John Gibson can do that for us. It's just a matter of having the right pieces around him to support him. He can't do it on his own, everybody. Everybody knows that a lot of times Gibson stands on his head and keeps us in those games in the past couple of seasons. He's kept us, the Ducks, in games, and he's won us games that we probably shouldn't have been in and won. So we need to give him more support. I think we have that now, quite honestly. Just this season alone, adding Klingberg, Kulikov, and then you have the Fowler, the Drysdales, the Shattenkirk. I think we have a really good defense. I really do. I think if they can work well together and gel, we could see a huge improvement on keeping the puck out of the net. Okay. So anyways, I talked on the Ducks lineup. There you go. Hey, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and leave some comments for me too. If you guys have any ideas, have anything to say about what I have to say, maybe you don't feel the lineup's going to be what I think it's going to be. Maybe you've got to try to throw them in there. Let me look at them. Talk to me. And let's throw me anything you got in the comments below. But definitely like and subscribe to this video, and let's keep the channel and it going. So hey, go Ducks as always. Looking forward to seeing how the team pans out with the preseason and training camp. Man, it's going to be exciting. I'm telling you. Okay, thanks guys.